of sheer stress and frustration and not being able to find anything and just strictly being overwhelmed, I started to clean up my craft supplies. And I'm going to just reveal to you today where we're at with that, and we got to talk. Hi everyone, my name is Diane and this is My Pink Bathtub. Welcome. Welcome if you're new and welcome if you are a returning subscriber. I am not in the screen room today because it is stinking hot. We had quite a bit of rain here in Manitoba. That's right, I live in the center of Canada in the province of Manitoba. And I have to tell you, it is like walking outside into a bowl of soup. It is hot and it takes me forever to cool down after I've gotten overworked, but nonetheless, we're going to stay inside with the air conditioner. I've started cleaning up and organizing my craft room, and I don't know if this is called radical, but I started selling some of my yarn on Facebook this week for like pretty much 50% of the price that it costs to buy it in the store, not including tax or shipping. The deal of the century. I had a whole bunch of Heartland yarn, like a whole bunch. And I don't know if I ever told you guys this, but I used to have an Addy machine, like, you know, the whirly machines that makes hats and stuff. I had the brilliant idea that I was going to make hats using this machine, and then I was going to turn them into my animals, like make ears for them and whatnot. And I just didn't like the results that the machine was giving me. I just didn't like the tension, and I found it really hard to get consistent sizes and to get various sizes with the machine. Like to make adult size hats, I couldn't figure out how to do that because it's 46 pins and that's all you're ever going to get. And if I did no tension on it, yes, it was bigger, but then it was really stretched out and it did not look good. But in my haste prior to discovering that this machine was not for me, I bought a whole bunch of yarn that people had recommended to use in it, such as Lion Brand Red Heart. I keep wanting to call it Red Heart. Such as Lion Brand Heartland yarn. Now, this is called a 4-weight yarn, but in my opinion, it's quite thin for a 4-weight. I mean, it's nice yarn. I did keep some colors to make fox stools with, like gray and fox-colored fox stools. But all the rest, like I had a bunch of it. And this lady just came and picked it up, and I swear she thought it was Christmas. Like, here you go, take 3 big bags of yarn, because I just got to get it out of my life. Because I was starting to feel incredibly overwhelmed when I walked into my craft room. And then I saw Kelly on Lockbriar Knits. And Kelly, I'm not blaming you, but she was starting to bag all of her wool yarn into bags for moths, you know, like just to protect it. And I've never had a moth. I've collected yarn for over 10 years, probably 15 years. And when I mean collected, most of it was acrylic. But I have, as of late, the last year or so, been buying a lot of hand-dyed yarn, wool. I also had a whole bunch of Patton's Classic Merino wool and the Patton's Superwash wool, which I love that yarn. And I just thought, better safe than sorry, let's bag these up. So I did end up getting extra large or 2XL size Ziploc bags on Amazon. These were the ones that she recommended. Yeah, so I've been bagging up all of my yarn just for safety's sake. And then you go down the rabbit hole and all of a sudden you realize you've got a lot of yarn. And there's a lot of yarn that you forgot you had. So I was trying to bag up all the DKs together, the fingering weights in similar colors. And then I started looking at the yarn going, why do I have some of this yarn? I don't think I'm ever going to use this yarn. What's the benefit of holding on to this yarn? So I've got 2 bags for donation so far of acrylic yarn. I've got a whole bunch of partial balls, which I think I'm going to try and do some scrappy projects with that, acrylic-based scraps. I've been selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace. I've sold 2 like large lots of yarn. And then I found some yarn that I've started to work with that I was like, yeah, oh yeah, this yarn. Okay, I'm just going to share with you. I took a little bit of footage. I mean, it's not the best footage, but I'm just going to share with you where we're at. I still have to go through, like I've got a dresser up there, and I have to go through all of my notions and stuff and kind of organize them better. I did pretty good at needle organization, but I've got, I mean, I even got stuff in the basement and I videoed that. So please don't judge me. I'm doing my best here. And just please remember that I am a maker and half the yarn is for my little wee business that I'm making stuff for. The fancy stuff's for me and I haven't done anything with it, but that's a 2025 project. Okay, let's look at the room. Let's just get this over with. I'm going to rip this off like a Band-Aid. Here we go. Not that bad, right? It's not that bad. I feel like I've got it a little more under control. Like I got rid of a couple of bins, and a lot of the stuff on the floor is gifts for people or things that I have plans with, so why find a spot on the shelf? I'm feeling a bit better about it. And I already have a plan for some of my yarn, and I'm going to share it with you now. And I had alluded to this in an earlier episode. I am going to knit a pair of socks each month in 2025. In January, I'm going to start with the socks that I currently have on my needles. I have one sock. So I'm going to finish my first pair of socks in January because I'm going to be doing Yarn Vent in December, and that's a real burnout month for anybody who's on YouTube and does daily videos. Like that's a lot. So I'm going to finish my pair of socks, and then I made this. And in this bucket are a whole bunch of bags that I don't know what's in it. Well, I picked 11 skeins of yarn to make socks. And I packaged them up in these little brown bags, and each month I'm going to grab one, like a mystery sock along for myself. And I'm going to make a pair of socks. Now, they're all bright colors, and I think it's going to be fun, and I think it's going to be a good challenge for me. And I'm just going to make vanilla socks to start with because the colors are the star of the sock. and we're going to see how this goes. But I'm very excited about this. Now, one of these is the socks that I'm going to make with Alice from Soxy Nana Alice. And I think she said she might join along in my sock along. I don't know what we're going to call it. It's pretty much mystery socks every month, except for January. So if you think this is fun and you want to join in, we could, I don't know, we could maybe make this into a thing. We'll figure it out in February. But right now, this is one of my plans for 2025, and I'm very excited about it. This is the bin. This is the bin of socks. The bin of socks. The bin of socks. So that's one thing I want to share with you. I actually do have an acquisition, a couple little things that I want to share with you. And these were bought prior to my last purchase of 2024, which was the Aberdeen's Wool mystery bag that you saw last week. But I even have something for next week to share with you because I want to wean myself off of sharing new yarn. But December is going to be all about new yarn because it's Advent Central over here. So while I was cleaning out my room, or organizing my room, let's face it, there's still a lot of stuff in there, I came across 2 single mittens that I had made, and I had to laugh because I realized why I never did anything with them is because I always make this pattern. It's from the movie Twilight, Bella's Mittens. I'm going to link it below. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. I start on row 24, and depending on the thickness of the yarn, I either use a 5.5 millimeter double pointed needle or a 5 millimeter double pointed needle. And this mitten was what I was calling my double knit mittens because they are super thick. I was knitting them with a 5-weight yarn that has alpaca in it, that had an alpaca blend. And I'm going to show you a couple of the types of yarns that I was knitting with them because I'm making more now. I'm making some more for my markets because I want to have some plain mittens just for people that don't want to wear animal mittens. And not that there's anything wrong with that. People have the right to choose what kind of mittens they want on their hands. And I'm a little burnt out of making animal mittens. I think I have 130 pairs made right now. So right now I'm taking a break at least for a week or two, and I'm really getting into these. So what had happened is I had this pair. I made 2 of the same side, 2 left-hand mittens, which was unfortunate. So I ended up just and threw them in a pile and never looked at them again. So now I'm making their partner. So I have finished the 1 pair, and I'm going to do the second one. But when I make mittens, I like to change it up and do a different color each time because it gets really boring really fast for me, especially when you have to make 2 of them the same color. And I was looking through my collection of yarn when I was bagging stuff up, and I thought, I'm going to use up some of this yarn because it's discontinued. I am the queen of discontinued yarn. Surely someone will want to buy these, and a lot of them are neutral, and I'm kind of pairing them with another color, the two yarns together, and it's kind of fun to see what they turn out to look like when you knit them together. So for these ones, I use a 5 millimeter double pointed needle because it is thick, and I do find, I'm getting used to it now, but I do find it's a little hard on the hands to knit at first because it is so thick, but it makes such an incredibly warm pair of mittens. They're to die for. So this one I made with this Patton's Alpaca Blend yarn with this color, and I held it together with Red Heart Super Saver yarn, which made these 2, made this. Isn't that nice? It was discontinued. I pretty much bought out the majority of it that I could find online when it was slashed down to super low prices. It's a 5-weight yarn, and it has 60% acrylic, 22% wool, 10% nylon, and 8% alpaca, but it is very like a loose, almost like a roving style. It's consistent in, I guess that would be more like a one ply. It's consistent in the thickness, so it's not a roving in that way, but it's kind of loosely wound. Is that called a one ply? This is the Red Heart, an Italian story, Vera yarn. Again, this is a 5-weight yarn, and this one is 70% wool, 30% alpaca. Wow. And it is warm and beautiful. And again, bought out as much as I could. Got it in black and a kind of a cappuccino-y color. This is another example. This is one that I just finished. This is one I just finished with the Red Heart Italian story yarn with just a variegated acrylic gray. So this one was very pretty. I just love this one. So yeah, I'm having fun. I'm trying to keep them as neutral as I can, but they are so thick and so warm. I'm rather proud of myself for trying to use up stuff from my yarn room and offer it on my table for market season. Now, my first markets, I think it's a month away today. I am filming this a little bit ahead from when you're going to see it. My first market is the weekend after Thanksgiving in Canada. The other thing that I was doing, and I really love this one, is I was kind of color blocking some of that Patton's alpaca blend yarn, making a full mitten out of partial balls that I had left. So I'm just trying to use up scraps. So this is like a wool acrylic alpaca blend yarn. Someone's gonna like them. So hot here. It's so hot. I don't know what it's like in your part of the world, but it's just like, we always do Thanksgiving here. It is one of our traditions to host Thanksgiving. So pretty soon I'm gonna have to take everything that's strewn throughout the house and temporarily find a spot for it, specifically all of the bins of product that I already have made, and kind of hide it away for a couple days. I'm feeling pretty good about my markets. I mean, if I can make more, I'll make more. I do have less inventory than I had last year, but I still have almost a month from the time of this recording to see what I get. Then I have, I'm going to say 4 weeks break, and then I have my final market. So we'll see how that goes. So I have an acquisition to share with you. This is something I bought a little while ago, and I just love it. But sadly, it's because a yarn store was closing. Darn Yarn, the company from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, has closed their doors, their online business. They still have a list of indie dyers on their website. I'm going to link it below if you want to go and use that as a reference. This is how much they championed indie dyers. And they were selling out their stock. And I thought, well, I didn't know right away that they were closing, and they put an Instagram post out saying that they had more stock that they found that they were going to post in their sale. So I went over and looked, and it was on sale for $7.80 each. So this is their spring garden. Isn't that just gorgeous? If you look at them differently, depending how they're wound up, they're going to look a little different. So I want to make the Mystic Square top by James N. Watt. James N. Watt. Is it Watt or Watts? this guy. Here's what it looks like. I just love it, and I will have enough to make it. This is definitely something I'm going to be making next year. Now, I'm wondering if you like this sock idea I have of surprise things to make. Do you think I should do that with some bigger projects that I want to make, like get them all together with the pattern, put them in the bag with everything I need except the needles, of course. And then I can just pull one as a random thing. Because I figure if I have a sock on the go all the time, then I can have another selfish project for myself, and then I can do market knitting. A nice healthy balance, you know, a healthy balanced meal of knitting for myself. Oh, and I got to learn crochet too. Got to throw that crochet in. I have a lot of small bits and pieces of acrylic yarn, like partial balls, that I'm like, what am I going to do with this stuff? I think that's going to be a good thing to practice my crochet on, with maybe a crochet blanket of some kind. So that's something in the horizon as well. And I've been thinking a lot about things to make because I've been going through my yarn. So the yarn it's been a bit of a feat, and I think for now we're just going to kind of take a break on doing more of that organizing, because I feel like I got a good chunk done and the wool is safe. Feeling pretty good about that. I'm feeling very good about my market knitting. Yes, I want to do more, but and I've had quite a few people say to me, hey, if you need hand at your market, I can come and help you. Well, I mean, it's very nice and generous of them. The first market, though, there's really no room in the booth for anyone to help me. It is 10 feet wide by 5 feet deep. And by the time I put my tables in there and myself in there, there's really no space for a helper. But then my second market, I have a 10 by 10 foot booth. So depending on how I do it, I'm probably going to like table myself in and be behind the table for the customers. So I could possibly have a helper there, but we'll see. We just got to get through the first market. And I will be fine at the first market by myself, because I have asked if I could be beside my friend, Krista, who is going to be at the market as well. And they said, yeah, no problem. So yeah, I'm going to get back to making these mittens because I'm quite enjoying pairing the two yarns together and seeing what kind of result I'm getting from them, and having a little bit of just a more, I don't want to call it generic, but a little bit more non-animal related stuff on my table to kind of please everybody. I mean, I don't know why people wouldn't want to wear chicken mittens, but apparently some people don't want to wear chicken mittens. So, and then I'm going to go back to making some more toddler mittens for my last bang at it, my last week or two. Yeah, so I'm going to get off here and I'm going to get back to my knitting. Thank you so much for joining me today. And until next time, my friends, take care and bye for now.